Hi, my name is Ethan Slater, and this is my featurette on how sound is used with the moving images. Today we're going to be looking at 3 contrasting scenes from 3 different films. I have chosen to look at WALL-E, Mission Impossible 4 Ghost Protocol, and Super 8. Although these 3 films are very different, they all have one thing in common. Their sound was produced by Skywalker Sound. And both Super 8 and WALL-E's sound designer was Ben Burtt. I'm going to start with a dialogue scene from Super 8. Here we see Alice and Joe speaking about the death of Joe's mum. Here we can break down the different elements of the sound to see how it helps to convey the atmosphere of this scene. Throughout this scene we can hear the diegetic sound of the projector. We are made aware at the beginning of the film that Joe's mum is dead, so we know that what we're seeing on the projector is a memory, but the sound of the projector keeps the viewer conscious of that fact, because we can hear it throughout the scene. The speed of the projector clicking also helps to add a slight feeling of nervousness, because people's heart rates increase when they are nervous. As this is the first time Alice and Joe have been open with each other, it makes sense for them to be nervous.
It's so weird. Watching her like this, like she's still here. She used to look at me this way, like really look. And I just knew I was there, that I existed.
The sound score for this scene is very slow and quiet. The changes in the music in this scene mimic how the characters are talking. This can be seen most clearly when Alice starts talking.
He drank that morning. My dad. He missed his shift. Your mom took it for him the day of the accident.
Alice's dialogue and the music are both quiet. The music starts to turn into the tune we associate with the beginning of the film, when we discover Joe's mum is dead. However, it holds back from going into the fully fledged theme. Alice sounds like she is trying to hold back tears, which blends very well with what we can see. Both the sound score and Alice are holding back or trying to hold back their emotion. This helps to show the uncomfortable atmosphere in the scene, which shows us that Alice isn't very comfortable talking about this subject.
He wishes... I know he wishes it was him instead of her. Sometimes I do too.
The sound score going into the tune we associate with the death of Joe's mother, and the sound of Alice trying to hold back tears, whilst occasionally letting a sob leak through, backs up the visuals of Alice crying very well. It makes the scene very convincing and creates an overall feeling of sadness. Next we have a light-hearted scene, which contrasts with the scene we have just looked at. This scene from WALL-E takes place after WALL-E has just been sent into space in an escape pod, which has been set to self-destruct. Eve initially thinks that WALL-E has been killed in the explosion, so she is relieved when she sees him alive. This is made evident in her dialogue, in the way she says, "WALL-E." Although the dialogue in this scene between WALL-E and Eva, as usual, only contains single words, the words carry a lot of meaning and emotion through the way they are said. This can also be seen in the way that WALL-E says, Eva. WALL-E is clearly very happy that he and Eva have just shared a moment, and that she has shown affection for him. The only clue to this from what he says, though, is the way he said it, rather than what he said. This way of showing feeling through dialogue is very effective and has more impact than if he had said a full sentence. Here we see Eva kiss, or whatever the robot equivalent is, WALL-E. He makes a sound that clearly shows he can't believe what just happened, whilst we hear his battery indicator beeping. This can be seen as Wally's heartbeat. It is a fairly fast beep, which when combined with the other sound he is making, shows he is in love. The music in this scene is very light-hearted. It contains several elements such as harp, soft drums, bells, strings and a lot of other soft elements, which add to the friendly atmosphere of the scene. This goes very well with Eve's giggles and Wally's wheeze. It is a relatively well-known fact that sound cannot travel through space, because there are no particles for the vibrations to travel through. This means if this scene wanted to be realistic, we would not hear any diegetic sounds, but we do. This gives the scene a warmer and more friendly atmosphere, as it adds an aspect of familiarity. We are used to being able to hear things, so if we suddenly hear nothing, it would give the scene a tense atmosphere, which wouldn't work with this scene. Finally, we have a chase scene from Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Although there are two people in this scene, the atmosphere created by the sound in this scene is very much centered around Ethan Hunt's feelings. This can be seen particularly clearly in how the sound score behaves in this scene. When Ethan is in close pursuit, the music gets faster, louder, and generally more energetic. This creates an atmosphere of adrenaline, which makes what we can see even more tense than it would already be. There are also diegetic elements in this scene that help to build up tension. One of these is the beeping coming from the tracking device that Ethan has with him throughout the scene. This especially helps to build tension the first time Ethan loses the man he is chasing. We can hear the beeping getting faster and faster as we see the dot on the screen getting closer and closer. We can link this back to the technique used in Super 8, when the clicking of the projector was used to represent the heartbeat of the characters, and in Wally when the beeps of his battery indicator are used for his heartbeat. Here the beeping could be representing the heartbeat of Ethan. As the heartbeat increases, the adrenaline builds as well as the tension. The beeping of the tracking device is emphasised by the absence of music and the small amount of other diegetic sounds. The only sounds we hear other than the beeping are Ethan breathing, his footsteps, and the sound of the wind. This not only helps to build the tension, but also creates an atmosphere of confusion as we see Ethan trying to find his way, whilst not being able to see much because of the sandstorm. The build-up of the beeping also makes the impact when he hits the car windscreen seem more severe. We see another example of diegetic sound being used to build tension here. The drone of the car's engine builds to the impact, making what we see seem more powerful. Here, once again, we find Ethan has lost the man he is chasing. The music slows down and stops following a very certain, knows where it's going, style. The notes that are played become less well matched and the structure becomes less tight. This helps to create an uncertain atmosphere as we see Ethan running aimlessly, not sure where to go. Thank you very much for watching my featurette.